We take a historical point of view when
Right.
we talk about the tectonic shifts here at Overflow and kind of what we're seeing in the space. I mean, if you go way, way back, right, especially in the Silicon Valley is called the Silicon Valley because of the silicon wafer chip. It was this tectonic shift in technology where all of a sudden you can now fit compute power into a small chip. Before that, the computers that they were making were literally the size of a whole bedroom,
That's
right?
pretty wild.
Just to do a calculation, a simple calculation that you could now do on a calculator. And so the invention of the chip and understanding that you can now put compute power in this chip made way for companies like Intel, right? Which is one of the godfathers of the Silicon Valley. From there, it made way to a new innovation, which was the personal computing device, right? Where it made way for companies like Apple and Microsoft that put a computer on every desk in every home.
Yep.
And then from there, it made way to another tectonic shift in technology, which we now know as the internet. The internet now could connect all of the devices that were now in our homes. And no longer did we need just CDs waiting in the mail for AOL to get the new upgrade and for even just our cell phone or our cell phone landlines to be tied up with the internet connection. But all of a sudden, internet became on the cloud. Software could be now downloaded from the cloud, which then made way for the new wave, which was social networking. Companies like Facebook and things like that could not exist without the modern internet. And then from there, a big tectonic shift was
The old phone.
the iPhone, mobile,
Yes.
right? Smartphones, smart devices, and things of that nature. And companies now could exist like Uber. Uber literally cannot exist without GPS-enabled mobile devices.
Good point.
And so you start understanding the companies. If you just drive down the street here in the Silicon Valley, you see Apple, you see Google, you see Meta, you see Amazon, you see Uber, you see Twitter. All of these are companies that were simply able to embrace tectonic platform shifts.
Yeah.
The new one is going to be AI. But even before we get into that, let's just make it really simple for the local church.
Yeah.
Right? Because if we talk about finances, if we talk about financial technology, if we talk about getting resources into your church, and why do we believe this is important? Because resources help accelerate the mission and vision of the local church.
Yeah.
Right? Even Jesus was financed by some business people, some business women. Hello. And so we know that resources are important. How have resources been coming into the church? If you think back historically, just a decade, you don't have to think that long. It was primarily through the buckets, the good old
We
buckets.
love a bucket.
I grew up in church, okay?
Yes.
Like I said, I'm not new to this. I grew
True to
up
this.
where it wasn't just even a bucket. It was like, it had wood handles. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm
No,
saying?
with
Wood
the little
handles with the
velvet
little
thing.
velvety. Yes. Like that, it was regal. Like it was just
Man.
like when we went to the buckets, I thought
King's
we were
Plate.
getting cheap. But that, it had velvet. It was usually red. It was incredible.
love
and
that.
so you would like pass the wood. It was
But it would like
hilarious.
twist as
You-
you
yeah.
go down. Yeah.
That's innovation at its finest.
Come on.
And that's how we collected the tithes and the offerings, which is so interesting because most of what came in then was in the form of checks, was in the form of cash, coins, and then you had a whole team in the back. Volunteers a lot of times, by the way. That's kind of weird.
Oh, yeah.
They're like counting like thousands of dollars.
For some reason, 70 people volunteered to count the money after church today.
Exactly. Did they go through next steps?
Yeah.
Were they saved yet? So that's how the money, the resources, what we use to build the local church, that's how it was collected. Okay, what happened in the last 10 years? What happened was the proliferation of online giving. Right? And it was so funny. I mean, 10 years ago when I talked to people that was building the church back then, and this new novel technology, the internet, mobile devices, online recurring giving, when that was being introduced, right? People are like starting to use PayPal. People are using eBay. Online payments is starting to become a thing, but there was just so much fear
Oh, totally.
and intimidation in the local church.
Yeah.
People would never do this. They want to bring a check. They want to bring their cash. They like that, interaction with the bucket or with the velvety, bag. And they're not going to trust putting their debit or credit card on a website. There's no way they're going to give through our website. Okay, fast forward 10 years later, accelerated by the pandemic, all of a sudden it goes from 100% of your giving going through a bucket or a bag system, an in-person system, to now 90% plus going through online giving, especially if you wanted to survive in the pandemic, all you could take was online giving. And so what I'm saying is that the same way that there was an internet tectonic shift, the same way that there was a shift in the way that people paid for things and they're more comfortable with paying for things online, the same way people wanted to now give from their phone. What happened in the last 10 years with giving, with mobile online giving, is what's going to happen, what's already happening in the next 10 years with non-cash giving in the form of stock, crypto, and other non-cash assets. I'm telling you right now. And so here's the thing. The Silicon Valley is the Silicon Valley not because it just has the smartest people in the world.
Right.
Not because it has a disproportionate amount of resources. Some of those things are definitely absolutely true. But there's other places like New York, there's other places like London that have these similar dynamics. What makes the Silicon Valley unique is that they embrace tectonic platform shifts.
Yeah.
They embrace it, they pioneer it, they're not afraid of failure. They're always pushing the edges and what this could look like and how this can apply towards taking humanity forward. And I'm telling you, if you're not thinking that way as a church, you are literally missing out.
I just want to leave a dramatic pause there for people to really feel that.